I used to think that AI was going to be a job killer, kind of like the Terminator coming from the future and eliminating all of the jobs. That's the headline. That's everything that we're hearing out there. But whenever I started digging into the data, I found something that completely changed my mind. And it might change how you approach your workforce strategy in 2025 and beyond. And here's the thing, if you wait too late, your competitor is going to make the first move, and you don't want that. So before we get into the 5 things, let's go through the data. So I found some interesting research from MIT, and the research showed that 60% of workers using robotics and AI, they actually anticipate positive career impacts in productivity, job satisfaction, and even workplace safety. Now, this survey gathered a response from 9,200 workers and 80% of them in office jobs across 9 countries in Europe, plus the United States and Australia. Now, this survey was designed independently by MIT's team and funded by Amazon. What's interesting is that it measured safety, pay, upward mobility, and job security. Americans did have the lowest trust in AI. Only about 28% of them found it helpful in their daily life. But here's the twist. Over 60% of American workers believe employers should invest in upskilling employees with this new technology. Now, if you look at the graph, you can see for the most part, the workforce in these 9 countries seem fairly optimistic. Well, except for the whole job security thing in the United States, where it definitely dips below. But if we look at globally, 46% of the workers want their employers to implement tools that automate routine tasks. Now, look, I know you're saying, hey, Trent, you said that there were 4 ways that AI is impacting the workforce. All right, okay, cool. Let's get into them. All right, so the first one I'm going to get accused of, hey, this is kind of obvious, but we still need to talk about it. AI is fantastic at freeing employees from doing repetitive work. Fast Company actually reported that AI is taking over repetitive, low value tasks, data entry, meter scheduling, endless lookups, all of that crap. And here's the twist. Workers aren't resisting. In MIT's large-scale study, employees said that automation improved comfort, safety, and even opened up doors toward upward mobility. Now, Fast Company's already reported that AI is already taking over a lot of low-value, repetitive tasks. Here's the twist. Workers aren't resisting. So take a minute and think about how many hours are wasted in an organization just doing the mundane task, and what would happen if you turn that into actual value-added work. It doesn't only help with morale, but it also helps your profit margin. So just a personal example, I do a lot of data analysis. As you can probably tell by watching on the channel, I love data. But AI can handle so much more data. I find that it actually helps me find insights that I probably would not have had the time nor the energy to do. And I spend more time on actually taking that data and crafting a strategy and then going even further and ideating. And I love to ask the agent, hey, future proof this for me, like shoot holes in it, pressure test it for me. And when I stop and I look back and I think through all the amount of time that I've spent before, doing the data analysis, by the time I actually got to the end, I never took the time to pressure test it. Now I've got my own digital twin, my AI agent that I'm able to bounce things off of and make sure that I'm analyzing the data and actually coming up with a plan that'll work. So it makes sense that if you free your employees from the mundane task, it gives them a boost in productivity and efficiency. And I actually alluded to that in the example that I gave just a second ago. Now, in a Forbes study, 80% of AI using workers said that they expect efficiency gains this year because of the AI that you're using. And some teams are already hitting 40% in productivity increases. And if you translate that into dollars, that's a significant gain for the organization. AI is not just about speed, it's about a quality of work. 80% of small businesses using AI report that it enhances, not replaces their workforce. Nearly 40% of small businesses expect AI to enable them to create new jobs this year and beyond, which contradicts a lot of the fears that AI is going to be the job killer. But there's also a human element. When people enjoy their work more, they stay longer and they perform better. And all of that energy and focus, that leads directly to the next breakthrough for your organization. And it also leads to higher profit margin and just a better quality of work. I mean, we have to work. Why not enjoy it, right? So far, we've discussed how AI is giving freedom from the mundane, mindless task and how it's boosting productivity. But what are companies and employees doing with all this newfound time, productivity, and profit? Well, Inc.com actually had a really cool article where they talked about companies with deep AI integration that they're actually piloting the 4-day work week, and about 90% of them are keeping it after the trial. Why? Well, because AI driven efficiency means that you can shorten the week without losing the output. And this is kind of a win win. And it's going to become especially important in the upcoming AI talent wars where everyone's fighting for the same AI talent. This is going to be a recruitment magnet. And also, too, it's going to be a retention booster and a mental health win. Let's call it what it is, right? Flexible in work actually used to be this great idea, this utopia that everyone wanted to go for, but now AI is actually potentially making it a reality. But the final clue, that was the one that really made me stop and think, we're actually sitting in a once in a generation type of opportunity. Now, can you imagine in the future workforce being able to access real time coaching? As someone that's spent over 20 years in HR, this idea is one that really lights me up. Think of AI being a personal career coach, recommending skills, different education courses to take right at the right moment. And it can also act as a collaboration engine from real-time translation to automatic meeting summaries. What's really interesting is what can AI do to help us with some of the interpersonal skills? Again, 20-something year veteran of HR here, most of my time was helping people work with people. Fast Company and Forbes both found that companies using AI for upskilling are seeing better collaboration, more innovation, and also too higher engagement. I had Jamie Albers on the podcast early this year, and she discussed what they're building over at Mento, and it's pretty cool. It's an AI coach that sits right in their Slack.
So where we're starting is what we realized is that if we want to help mentor people, and we also want to think about how AI can support people in ways that humans can't, even if you could have a coach every day. A coach can't sit with you where you work. They're not going to join all your meetings. They're not going to be in your Slack. It's not happening. And it's an assistant that supports you. It's your thought partner, your editor in chief. And we're all deeply biased people. We carry those. It's hard not to put our own lens and view on it. And so you could also imagine how this would tie back very nicely into coaching, into human coaching as well. We can do things like, hey, based on my chat history, what are some good one-on-one topics? Hey, this is a difficult conversation. Can I get some coaching around this? Or I'm feeling frustrated. That was really annoying. And I just want to quickly talk about that and get it off my chest. And these are the things, this is really where behavior change can take place because it's helping you make that change in the moment. And it's taking a lot of that burden off of you to figure that out.
So if you've always wanted to have development and always felt like HR was falling short, guess what? AI is on the way to help, and I am absolutely here for it. All right, I really wanted this video to be a counter narrative to all the doom and gloom whenever you talk about AI in the workforce. We talked about 4 benefits. The first one is freedom from the mundane and mindless task, which is going to lead to number 2. It is more productivity and efficiency, which is great for the organization, but it's also great for you because it may lead the organization to do number 3, which is consider more flexible work arrangements. Because if you're able to do more in less time, maybe they'll give you that time back. Most importantly, we are sitting on the cusp of actually having some AI coaches help you with your career development, learn new skills, help with some interpersonal issues, and if you're a leader, kind of be that sidekick that you've always needed to help kind of get through some of those really tough discussions. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please make sure that you like, subscribe, and share this with someone else that you think may find this valuable. Remember, invest in yourself because no one will do it like you do. Thank you, and I'll check you out next time.